Hi, I'm your host, Erica Polsinelli, and welcome to Evolve by Erica, the podcast, where we talk all things spirituality, ascension, health, wellness, and beyond. I'm so excited that you are here. Come on in. Hello, guys. I'm very excited to have Lauren here today on the podcast. She is a healer, a shaman. Just by her walking in, I felt her energy, and she immediately started reading me and sharing messages that came through. So you're going to hear that in the beginning of this podcast. What's so cool is that it's so in alignment with so many other things that I've been told by other people who have read my energy. And that's how you know this is all so real. She's incredible, such a light. She is on the journey of ultimate surrender and just trusting in the flow of the universe. And I think you're going to love her and this conversation. So sit back and enjoy it. See you on the other side.
What I'm getting is she has gifts like you, and you're entering a space where you're going to be further opening up to your gifts. Mm-hmm. Because you have the foundation, right? Like my foundation actually started with Kundalini yoga. Before the awakening for me led me to Kundalini yoga, and it allowed me to get to a place where I was able to explore once I experienced the death of my best friend and first love, and that's what awakened my mediumship. But before that, I found Kundalini yoga, and it was this foundation that let me explore, is what keeps coming through. Is the foundation that let me be grounded enough to explore. So I feel as though your own gifts that are you have more information and wisdom than simply the like the human tools that we could grasp onto, right? Like Kundalini is a human term. Most people, like, well, your people, of course, get it. I get it. Yeah. But not everyone knows the term Kundalini yoga. And you know so much more than that. That's just a way for you to access certain level of people. And I feel as though you're entering this space and this higher dimension that you're going to be sharing different wisdom and downloads. You already do. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to start talking about it in a different way. Like there's this desire to, and we get to push the boundaries a little bit with society. And some of us are here to do that. Yeah. And we get to shake things up. And I don't know, just feel that very strongly for you right now.
Very on point, very on point. And I said it a few times today, where the practice has been my tool to tap into what actually lives within me and what I'm capable of. And I think there's definitely more. And I'm kind of in this space of it feels like a little bit of a pause right now, because I know something else is moving in. Not saying it's, I don't know what it is. I just know something else is coming online, and I'm trying to stay very open to the people, to the experiences, to the knowledge, in the 3D realm that I'm supposed to learn, to then again connect to these higher gifts that maybe I haven't even experienced yet. So, and I recently had another intuitive reading, and the same thing came up. So isn't that cool?
I think there's a wave of us is the best way I can kind of put it, that are in this pause, in this kind of lull. We're just sitting out in the water waiting for that next wave to come in. And for the first time, at least, I feel like I'm not rushing it. I have no desire to birth anything intensely right now. I've already laid all the foundation and planted all the seeds, and I know when the wave's ready for me to ride it, I'm here and let's fucking go. I'm ready. Yeah. And because I know it's gonna be a big wave that I'll be riding for a while, I'm really enjoying the pause and the freedom that I've found to even be able to be in this pause and not in fight or flight and what's going to happen? Where's my next check coming from? And this and that. And just I get to exist and be and live. And it's such a testament to the tools and the work and the foundation that we create.
It's so true. I want to go back to one more thing before we get into you and all you do. You brought up my grandma.
I know. Okay. Yeah.
So every time I have a reading, most times she comes through, but she's still earth side. And I'm definitely connected to her. The egg I came from was inside of her.
Right.
Like I'm definitely, and we're just a very, very, very close family. And I've also recently heard how like there are ancestors in my line that are like really cheering me on for doing this type of work now. And I think she is part of that line.
Yeah.
Is that what you see?
Yeah. I mean, she couldn't do what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like how proud of you is she?
Yeah.
The most proud, right?
Yeah.
My grandmother passed a few years ago. And with that, she got to see me at the end of her life, like really living my truth.
Yeah.
And telling her towards the end, because she went blind, I'd come over, I'd bring flowers. I'd be like, Grandma, I was driving here. I'm sorry it was late. Grandpa made me stop to bring you flowers. He wanted me to get you the specific ones so you could smell them.
Aww.
And I would talk to her about the other side and the experience that I had. And her transition was really easy for her because I was able to help her before she got there. So I just know how happy and proud she was of me, like here in the physical, and how happy she is there and all my ancestors for the work I've done. So of course, like you're changing the vibration, you're changing the DNA, you're changing the cellular structure of your family, your lineage, 7 generations back, 7 generations in the future, whatever that looks like.
So wild.
Yeah.
Take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us how this whole journey started for you.
Okay. Hi. So nice to meet you.
We jumped right into a psychic reading, but here we are.
I am Lauren. Lauren Courtney Heals is my company. I'm a shaman. I mean, that's truly what I am. And I think that's the easiest term for me to use these days, and that I should come back to and owning that for myself, because that's truly what I am. I'm an alchemist. I'm a creator. I do many things. I am a healer through many modalities, whether it be holy fire, Reiki, Karuna Reiki, sound healing, food. That is how I heal. That is my purpose in this lifetime, to help people heal and remind them that it can be fun. It can be playful and it can be enjoyable, because we can get really rigid in healing, just as we can get rigid in life before we even enter into healing. So that is who I am, or what I do. Who I am is a soul having a beautiful human experience.
It's incredible. How did your journey start?
It's interesting because on my way here, I'm from New York originally, and I lived in Manhattan for a long time. So my journey really started in Manhattan. Living here, partying here after college, being very unawakened. Very unawakened.
My guest prior started her company at like 20 years old, and like spent like 20 through 30 growing this like insane company. And I'm like, girl, do you know what I was doing at that age? I'm like, that was not even on my radar.
No.
Like I was out there messed up on all sorts of things.
Dancing on the tables in clubs. Definitely out late. And then I worked in corporate America. I had cool jobs though. I worked doing event planning and personal assistance for professional athletes. I worked at a talent agency. Like I thought I was it. I thought like, this is
you were it, girl.
This is so cool. I party at night and have this really great job, but it wasn't it. And I started having this inner knowing I was here to help people heal. I didn't know what it meant. And I started cooking a little bit. I ended up needing to have reconstructive jaw surgery.
Oh my goodness.
So that took me out of work for a little while as well. And I just kind of went on this healing journey unexpectedly. Ended up leaving corporate America, enrolled in school to become a holistic health coach, got a part-time job nannying. And then I had friends who were opening a recovery home, and they were looking for a private chef.
For people in recovery?
Yeah. Clients
in New York?
recovering from food, drug, and alcohol addiction. Private, like, upscale very upscale loft spaces. Like there was one actually around the corner from where we're recording right now. Wow. I didn't really know how to cook. I'd only cooked for myself, and the 3 owners said, we'll take a chance on you if you'll take a chance on us. And I ended up cooking for about 2.5 years for clients recovering from addiction, working as a health coach with them as well, and then went on to open my own meal delivery service.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a crazy time. At the same time, I was dating someone who I didn't understand at the time was struggling with his own addiction. Ended up getting arrested in my home and going to jail as I was like building this whole career for myself. That's when I found Kundalini yoga. So I was very into Kundalini. It was like Kundalini in the kitchen. These are the 2 things I do. I cook all day and I go to Kundalini at night, and I throw in a spin class because like I am running towards something.
Where were you practicing?
At Golden Bridge Yoga.
Oh, okay. I've heard so much about it.
Oh my God, it was.
Is that Gurumuk?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she was here in New York?
She was.
Wow.
Yeah, not all. They were traveling a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such
She's still teaching. She's like, how old is she?
80s.
And she's the most radiant.
The most radiant light you've ever seen. I mean,
she's like what they say the practice does to you. Like she is the epitome of it. It's like you do this, you look like this.
She just flows. I don't even know if she walks. I think she floats.
I literally don't think she walks either. I know.
Yeah, so I was practicing, I was cooking, and then about a year or so later, my best friend and first love died. He passed from an overdose. It was really unexpected. He had been sober for a long time. I had been with him 2 weeks before his death, and we had, quite honestly, the best day we'd ever had.
Wow.
And they say the soul starts to know it's leaving the body 2 weeks prior, and the day he crossed over, he started communicating with me. Wow. And there was no doubt in my mind that he wasn't communicating with me. I felt him next to me. I had chills. Music was coming through to me, and it was very clear to me. And in that moment, I made a decision to figure out what life actually was, because I had been living a reality that was programmed into me. So I actually ended up leaving New York a few months later, found Holy Fire Reiki. Through that, my mediumship blew wide open. There was no ignoring that this was my reality now. I got a job as a spiritual advisor to a cannabis brand and traveled around LA for a few months.
What does that even mean?
Exactly.
Tell me.
So there was a cannabis brand and these 2 owners, and I met them, and I simply felt called to pitch to them, like, I feel like you guys need some energy work, and I feel like I can help your brand. This is my actual background in marketing and events and all of these things, and I think you actually need me for the spiritual stuff. And they ended up keeping me on for 5 or 6 months, and I traveled with them to different events and helped them move through some really big demons that they were individually both going through, and it really changed the trajectory of both of their lives as well as mine.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after that, within...
So there's opportunities everywhere. You just like...
You have to create them. We got to create everything.
And when it's aligned, you know, putting yourself out there is important.
Yeah, and I think I'm a 3/5 in human design, which is a martyr heretic. So I'm here to experiment, throw the spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks.
So fun.
I actually started doing healing on a friend that I reconnected through. I was in Vegas for a cannabis conference, reconnected with a friend who was a chef from high school, and got this channeled message to offer him healing, and that there would be an opportunity that would come that would involve both of us, and I would say yes. So I shared this with him, and he was totally open. I had no idea. He was in a really, really dark place in his life. His business partners had just really screwed him over in business. And he was like, yes, I'm in. So I started giving him Reiki at a distance. And 2 months later, he called me and said, we're going to Miami to make gummy bears.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, we're going to Miami to make gummy bears for Sugar Factory. They're opening this place and we have to make gummy bears. It's like, dude, I cooked in recovery. I didn't even cook with sugar. You want me to make gummy bears? And he's like, I told the owner of the company that I won't be able to come there and do this job without you because you're the queen of making gummies. You don't have to do anything. You just have to show up. Like, you told me you would show up when the opportunity came. So in that moment, I was like, oh shit. Okay. Like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
So I knew the contract was coming to an end with the guys I was working for in cannabis. I knew God was telling me go. And I got on a plane 2 weeks later and went to Miami for 3 weeks and learned how to make gummy bears. And they were going to be opening this restaurant with these other big restaurateurs in Miami. It was going to be this like donut collab and gummy collab, like with these big restaurateurs. And we were in this meeting at Komodo. And right, is that the name of the restaurant? Yeah. So we're in this meeting. My friend Josh and I are bringing in these gummy bears to all these restaurateurs. And I'm like, I'm this spiritual person that very much is having this whole other experience of what's actually happening. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm in this room right now making gummy bears, but I can't wait for the universe to one day show me like what's actually going on. Cause I just believe, like, go with whatever spirit's guiding you. Like, I don't have to know why I'm making gummy bears. So funny. So my friend was talking to me about bears last night. Oh, this is interesting. It's very full circle. I'll have to sit with that later. So I made gummy bears. The owner offered us an opportunity to move out there for a year and help open this restaurant. Everything inside of me told me it was going to fall through by the time I got there. And everything inside of me told me I had to say yes and move to Miami, even though it made no sense. My grandfather was coming through very strong. My grandmother lived there at the time still. So did my great aunt. I moved within 3 months. Packed up, moved across the country again. 6 months later, a month later, was there. The job fell through. I had to figure out what I was going to do. Didn't have a job. And 6 months later, my grandmother went blind, and I was there to help her transition and spend the last 5 years of her life with her. And my great aunt just passed at the beginning of this summer, and I got to spend the last 5 years of her life with her.
Wow.
So I literally got the greatest gift ever by moving to Miami and having the time with them. In addition, it was the biggest leap I ever took, and I built the most incredible business and truly found who I am and what I'm supposed to do in this world.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And that's really just letting the universe guide you.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense, just going with it. I want to go deeper into mediumship. So can you share a little bit about like how things come through to you when you mentioned like being on the train and something coming through about me there? Does motion induce that for you?
I'm a very touch sensory, so physical is my number one. I'm very clairaudient. I feel a lot, and even as a kid, I would always kind of get very relaxed in the car. So when I'm in a relaxed state, things come to me. So trains, planes, even I get like the best. I'm sure like you could relate like the best downloads, and like drop-ins on planes for some reason. So yeah, the more relaxed I am, the more things can come to me. I ask myself questions because I'll start to feel things around me too. It's not only like feeling on my physical body that I'll feel like chills or things like that. I'll feel energy near me. Sometimes I'll have to ask it to move back because it will feel too close, and then I get overwhelmed and start having a little bit of anxiety. Like right now, I'm like, okay, I could feel energy around me, so I'm asking them to back up because I'm like, okay, like you're very strong, and I could feel that there's people here because they get like really excited when I talk about mediumship. Because I don't work as a medium. It's not something I do. Simply because for me, it's this gift that I'm gonna pause for a moment so not like get emotional about it or more emotional. I've never really thought of it this way, but like mediumship saved my life. Like if when my best friend passed away, I didn't have that immediate connection, I never would have found who I am now. And like, alive or not, I would have been dead because I wouldn't actually be alive. Maybe I would have found it in another way.
Yeah.
But my mediumship, it's the best gift I've ever been given. That doesn't go away. Many times I thought it would go away, and that scared me too. So I don't like to put pressure on it either. I like for it to be really easy. If it comes through in healing sessions with clients, I allow it to. But I don't like to put pressure ever on anyone to come through. Because the same as any human relationship, if you put pressure on someone, they don't like it, and they don't like, people don't like that. So why would I do that to a spirit? They're like, yo, back the fuck up. I left this fucking place because you were driving me crazy.
I relate to that so much because I receive a lot of information. I see things. Right before 2020, right before COVID, a month before, I had a client come over and we did a one-on-one together, and all I could see in our meditation was chest x-rays. And in that moment, I wanted to ask her, because I was still learning, I wanted to ask her, she was grieving the loss of her father, and I wanted to ask her if it was something having to do with the lungs or the heart, because I kept seeing chest x-rays. I didn't, because I didn't feel like I should be testing out my gifts on someone. But after that, with all of COVID being such an attack of like the heart chakra, it kind of was a confirmation that if it wasn't that, it was this. And I was receiving messages. And I'm just remembering right before 2020 as well, this is kind of out there, but I would feel myself in another timeline. You know, when you're sick, like with a cold or a cough, you have that like sicky feeling in your body. I'd feel that, but it wasn't in this body. It was in a different timeline, possibly, or a premonition of what was happening. And all of these little things come up, and it's like, oh, wow, I have access to this. But I relate so much to you saying, like, if I was to say, okay, I'm a medium, let me do a medium session. And then it's like, well, actually, they don't want to come through right now. Like, I just resonate so deeply with what you're saying, because it's awesome that some people want to do that and can do it in that manner. And you're also giving me just approval of how I receive and how I work as well. So thank you for that.
Because I do have friends that are mediums. And they're so
it's amazing.
Talented, and that's what they're meant
it's amazing.
To do.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, this is for me to remember how to play. Because otherwise life can get really rigid for me. Yeah.
And it's almost like this space of having a secret with, not a secret, but it's like, I have access to this, and if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, that's fine. But I know what I have, and you know, and it's like, it's fun. It's like a little romance with the universe.
On my way here, I like got so many signs. The amount of signs, I'm sure you're the same. The amount of photos I have on my phone of, I saw this, and then this, and no one's ever gonna look at these photos. And why do I have all of them?
I know.
It's just the best to speak this language with the universe, because when I don't feel that, I know something's off. I know I'm out of alignment if I'm not getting all the numbers and the letters and the symbols, and just, it makes living fun. Yeah,
it does. And it's the magic in living and this humanly experience, but spiritual at the same time. So what are your practices each day to continue to foster and like tune into your gifts?
You know, I've gotten to a place where my practices are not the same every day anymore. And I've given myself space to be okay with that, because I was really structured for a long time. I like to journal a lot. I don't pressure myself to do it every day anymore. I do it when it feels good, multiple times a week. I'm getting ready for a Kundalini training.
Amazing.
I'm so excited. I did one before, but this one's in person. The other one was online. And
where is it?
It's in Miami.
I'm feeling so called to do something lately. When is it?
It starts in January. The meetings are once a month on the weekends. I'll send you the info because it's like in Miami,
Please
which is so great. Yeah. So I know I'm getting back into kind of more structure there.
It's very structured.
Yeah. I've been doing a little bit every day, some aura cleansing every day to get my arms ready for all that's to come. But with that, you know, I give myself Reiki every day naturally because it's simply a part of who I am. I find myself that I whistle or chant naturally throughout the day. I was saying to a client yesterday, I don't really even have an altar at home. And the reason I don't
either.
Right? My whole house
never guided to
is an altar. Yeah. Anywhere in my home, I've created an altar-like space. So I feel like that's also my life. Yeah. I've become this. It's almost like I've become like one of my friends will call me a Reiki stick. She's like, you're just like this human Reiki stick. I was kind of seeing it as selenite, but you know, whatever you want to call it. And if I'm not at that frequency that I want to be at, that's when I'll go to something.
Yeah.
And that's okay for me. That works for me.
I love that.
Yeah. If I'm in Miami and I have my sound bowls around, I'll sit down, I'll play a drum, I'll like whatever
Beautiful.
feels good. Yeah.
I recently had a healing session with my friend Marcy, and she does Reiki, but I don't know if she just does, I don't know if she says it's only Reiki. I don't know if there's more in her practice. I'm not really sure, but I just got on her table. And at one point I was lying there and I saw or felt an energy of like an old man, like a wizard like man, grab her drum and start playing the drum. And I felt either something take over Marcy's body or Marcy leave her body and whatever. We're not talking during this time. And it was really powerful. The drum was amazing. And afterwards, when we were debriefing, she's like, and I just want to let you know, I don't play the drum plays me. And I'm like, girl, I know, actually. I saw what happened there, and there's a man. And she's like, I know. And I'm like, it's so wild.
Like, I feel the energy of Merlin, which is so weird because I was just in Arizona and kept seeing Merlin there.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's
interesting.
Like something that needs to come up for her.
I don't know, but I'll let her know that.
I don't know.
So interesting.
Well, I do know. They're telling me I
yeah,
do know. So
Merlin,
I'm say
okay.
I do know. Share Merlin with her.
Okay.
Marcy,
I will.
Connect with Merlin. You already are.
Yeah, but it's beautiful to like know what you need when you need it, not feel like you need to do a certain thing and just listen, because our bodies are so intelligent, and when that higher consciousness comes in and runs through us, we just know.
Yeah.
Just know what it is.
The freedom. For so long I was really rigid. For so long that is what I taught clients to do. And then at a certain point though, you evolve.
Yeah.
Like we evolve and we don't need the same things every day. If we did, we wouldn't be growing, and the tool, all the things we've been doing wouldn't have been working.
So true.
And it's like, okay, how quickly can I come back? How quickly can I come back when I'm off? You know, is it going to take a week? Absolutely not. In 10 minutes, I can bring myself back if I give myself the space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so true. Last night I was actually driving to an event and I just got that craving to be connected to divine more intentionally, and like feeling that energy of connectedness that I get from meditation. But I wanted it right then and there, and I was driving. So obviously I wasn't going into meditation, but it's true. It's just like a muscle that we could tap into, and we may need only 1 second, or the intention of saying, okay, I'm connected. I'm here. I'm present with it. And it doesn't have to be a whole thing. And I think that's what comes when you do put in time and you do work the muscle and you do have the structures. And then eventually it's really part of you, and it's with you whenever, on, off the mat, wherever you are, on an airplane, train, subway.
I remember when I was traveling with these guys in the cannabis industry, I used to bring an altar everywhere. I had a traveling altar because we were in a car too. So I'd bring this like wooden board and all my crystals and set up an altar everywhere I went. I had my tinctures, you name it, right? All the cards, and it was like my space, and I had to have it. This summer I was traveling a lot, and I had this moment where I was like, when did I stop bringing a big altar? I should really carry more of an altar with me. So I brought an altar with me on 3 trips. And by the time I got back, I was like, I am never doing that again. I actually didn't need any of it. I'm so glad I did it though.
Yeah.
Because there was something I needed to remember in it and like kind of go back through the door I once came from to remember. And then I was like, I actually need nothing.
Yeah.
I need nothing other than air.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's so freeing.
So how do you work with people if they're loving this conversation and they're vibing with you? What do you offer?
So I have multiple ways people can work with me. One-on-one, of course, is always an option. I have group programs every few months, and then I have online programs that consist of journal prompts and sound healings. My main one is called Glow Up Your Chakras. Then Glow Up Your Aura comes after that. If you want to dive deeper, Glow Up Your Organs, Glow Up Your Business.
I love this.
Yeah, all different mini courses as well. Release Your Money Blocks. That's really popular. Free sound healings on YouTube and Instagram and all those things.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And who knows? I mean, I may be popping up now doing chefing at retreats all over because I had so much fun cooking again. So I'm starting to share recipes as well on social media, whether it be on I Am Lauren Courtney or Glow Up Your Chakras. I've got all sorts of things quite literally cooking up.
That's so exciting. Wow. So many ways. I feel like this community is very much a retreat community, and it's good to know.
Yes. Let's get a retreat together.
Wow.
Long Island retreat. We can
I know. I've had many people ask and inquire about a retreat, and I met a lot of resistance, but now I'm feeling such a push to do so much more in person and connect. So I'm really feeling into that.
Yeah, people
for
are
sure.
loving. I love the in-person after being in a retreat and holding space in the kitchen for 25 to 30 people a day. It's like, wow, I missed this after all these years. So I'm so here for moving into retreats myself, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I really feel like I could talk to you forever. I really love your energy. I feel like I could talk to you forever, but I'm so grateful. And maybe this is like a part 1 and we'll have a part 2.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm always back and forth. So
that's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and sharing all of your wisdom and insight and your gifts.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for sharing all of your gifts, because
thank you.
What you're doing for so many, I know how Kundalini awakened me. And to share that as well as all the other wisdom and knowledge you share is, it's priceless.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the conversation. I feel so connected to her already just from meeting with her in person today. And she has a ton of amazing offerings. So you can absolutely check her out if you're guided to work with her. It's so special when you connect with other people that just speak your language. And I feel so fortunate that I get to do that here in this space and just this being my job and my life. And I hope that you have the opportunity to connect with people who speak your language. And I hope that this space is that opportunity for you too. And that's really why I created this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you next time. May the longtime sun shine upon you. Sat Nam.